Welcome to In the Box Seat. I'm Ray Fewings, and boy oh boy, haven't we experienced the highs and the lows of greyhound racing in South Australia this week. First of all, the highs, and of course we've got the Sister City final coming up, of course, to see which greyhound goes to Christchurch. We had that terrific representation at Albion Park by our star sprinter, Point Two Over, and of course our great stayer, Calden Mayhem. They did South Australia proud, running 4th and 3rd in the Nationals. On the downside, though, in the last 7 days, we lost our star stayer, Satanic Cash. He dislocated a hock and he's been retired. I must say, however, Connection spent a lot of money on him, even though they knew he'd never race again. They've had him repaired. There's a plate and a lot of screws been put into his leg, and now he's going to enjoy the life of Riley as a retired greyhound. And what a wonderful greyhound he was, Satanic Cash. He gave you the same run all the time. You knew he'd drop out. You knew that he'd be thundering home at 100 mile an hour. A very, very exciting and outstanding greyhound. And of course, we also lost Dark Duo, hopefully not for good. Dark Duo, of course, pulled up lame. He powered to the front last Thursday night at Engel Park, and he looked as though he's right back to his brilliant best. But you knew something was wrong in the back straight when he couldn't get away, and then gradually dropped out of the race to run a dismal last. He came back lame, and I understand he's got metacarpal problems. So hopefully they'll get Dark Duo back to his best. He is a big, heavy dog, though, and it won't be any easy task for Rob Harness, but I'm sure he'll do it well. Now, coming up, of course, we've got some terrific greyhound racing over the next week or so. We've got Calden Mayhem back from Queensland. He's going over the 600 on Thursday night. We've got a newie from Victoria, Don's Miss, which is won in blistering time at Sandown Park, 29.65. She's coming to Angle Park on Thursday night, so plenty to look at there. Wednesday, the Coca-Cola Preludes, the Derby Preludes, and a lot of our good dogs are going around on Wednesday, so lots to look forward to there. And we're going to be talking on In the Box Seat with our guest trainer tonight in Craig Arthur, who's got, well, Skull Murphy's gone, and the punters in the pubs, they love Vanilla Gorilla. They love the cheerful chimp, and he's been doing him proud of late, and we'll be talking with him on the program. Now, the races coming up all over Australia this week. Dapto, we've got the Dean Industrial Maiden Final. The Coca-Cola Derby Preludes, as I mentioned, they're on this week. We've also got the Chairman's Cup at Wentworth Park, and we've got the Canberra Cup as well. So plenty happening all around Australia. Now, don't forget, if you dine at all in Chase's Restaurant, make sure you go straight to grsa.com.au the following week and see if your dial comes up on the screen. If it does, that means dinner for two for free to you to Chase's Restaurant. It's Face in the Crowd, we call it, and I hope that you appear at some stage and get that free meal. Now, what's on in South Australia this week? As I mentioned, we've got the Grade 5 final for the 600 metre dogs. Saw some impressive heat runs. Random Test looked terrific, and one or two others not far away from him. So that should be terrific this Thursday night. The tipsters, Wednesday, race 6, number 6, Victor Troy. Been running very well in the age races. He's going around in the Coca-Cola Derby Preludes on Wednesday. He's a very, very strong dog. And if he stays out of trouble early, they suggest he'll win. Race 8, number 2, Mighty Chaos, led all the way last start in very respectable time and gave the impression that it can only get better and better. Now, the tips from the team for Angle Park on Thursday. Race 5, number 7, Tinishi Bale. Should be terrific value, Tinishi Bale. Very capable greyhound, won a lot of money, probably in the twilight stages of her career, but still capable of a big run. The first 4 in that one, race 5, is 7-1-3-4. And they've also gone for race 6, number 6, Random Test, to win the final of the 600. First 4 in that one, 6, 5, 3 and 4. As far as my dogs to follow for this week, I've got a few. Wednesday, race 2, the Maiden. There should be a terrific clash here. Rob Harness has got a newie called Octane Shiraz, and Jan Jones has got one from the new litter by Collision from Ask Any Dancer called Turak Tango. Big engine dog, I understand, a big black dog, so that'll be a highlight. Now, race 9, number 1, Kale Bale. Form is shocking. Tony Lagana bought it recently very cheaply, and they tell me he brought it to the track and it ran 30 dead at the trial. So if it does that off box 1, Tony's got himself a bargain. And also race 10, number 1, Roman Pedro. Been a bit busy lately. He chased home at Strath the other night, Rawson Reason, and he's drawn the red, should be very hard to beat. As far as Thursday night is concerned, race 1, number 2, Ace Kennedy. The Brett Lee dog looks as though the sky's the limit for this Broken Hill performer. Race 4, number 4, Calden Mayhem over the 600. Race 7, number 3, Don's Miss, the Victorian that's over here with a litter mate. And I've come up with race 10, number 1, the Rimba Slayer. So there's a bit there to get your teeth into. We've had a terrific run, though, with the greyhound racing at Angle Park over the last 10 days or so. Next up, Craig Arthur, talking about Vanilla Gorilla. Welcome back to In the Box Seat. Well, they say there are not enough young blokes getting involved in the greyhound game these days, but I'm pleased to say we've got a very promising young trainer with us as our guest, in Craig Arthur. Welcome.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks for having me.
And, of course, you've got Vanilla Gorilla, who... well, apart from being a dog with a fair bit of ability, the name has captured the imagination of the public, and I've heard punters in the tabs yelling out, "Go the Gorilla."
Well, that's right. It's he's become the people's dog in a lot of ways. The name catches on. He was the only fawn dog in the litter, and if you see my build, you know I'm not adverse to ice cream, and a bit of vanilla Gorilla seemed to rhyme, and we give it a go, and we got it. So.
Well, he's a very good dog who's put together a number of outstanding wins. Just how far can he go? Because he's not a pup by any means.
No, he's not. He's 3 next month. He's shown promise from the day we had him. He was over in Melbourne, and he unfortunately cracked his hock in his first race, and that's why he hasn't had as many starts. I think he's only had 10 starts up until today, and he's, like I said, he's nearly 3. So who would know? He's lightly raced. He's a big dog, so he took a long time to come into himself, and he's starting to find, and he trials brilliant times. He hasn't quite showed that yet on the track, but I think he, if he does, then he might be able to fill that potential. But that's a dirty word, potential, sometimes, isn't it? So, but he
gets under 30.
Well, over 500, he will. He breaks 17 at the back pretty comfortably, and he's getting stronger as he gets older. So I wouldn't think that'd be too much of a problem for him.
All right, that's enough about the Gorilla. A bit about yourself. You come from Uradler in the Adelaide Hills, and not a lot of blokes in the hills with greyhounds these days, apart from Strath, of course.
No, that's right. There's the Fosters obviously at Harndorf, and the fella up at Woodside, and I think there used to be a few big trainers up that way before my day. But it's a beautiful spot. We don't have enough land really. We've only got a quarter of an acre, but if we had a bit more, it'd be good. But it's just I work in the city, and my wife works in the city, and it's nice to get up half an hour and you're out of the hustle and bustle and your foothills heaven. So.
Yeah. What about the training methods for Vanilla Gorilla and the rest of your team?
We only have 3 at a time generally, so we're not stretched too far because it's hard when you're working, of course, and we take it easy on them. We just make sure they're fitting well every time they go around. We don't put them around every week, and just try and put them where they're going to win. And pre-training is a thing. We breed a few litters, and to see them coming through and improving every week, we just take our time on them and just make sure they're sound and give them every opportunity, basically.
What else have you got coming on?
We've got a few over in Melbourne. Justin and Kiralee Illman rear all their pups over there, so we've got a few there that are the next litters to fly high at a Knocker Norris, and we've got Paddy's Flame Knocker Norris coming through at the moment, and they're going quite well actually. We're quite surprised. They didn't show much early, but they've really come on. So we've got sort of a lot of those pups in that 14 to 18 months age bracket.
Any more gorilla names coming out of those?
Well, I don't know if I've been barred from naming actually from the rest of the people we have dogs with, because I come up with a few. We had Closet Tinkle and others. It's not always as good as Vanilla Gorilla that comes out. So, we'll see. It depends on what takes me, I suppose.
And how did you get into the greyhound game?
We started off by looking at horse syndicates. We wanted to...
How did that go?
Not good, not good. Well, actually, it didn't go at all. We had a look on the internet and sort of thought we could have 1/10 of a horse for 5 or 10,000 and watch it race once a year, and sort of thought, well, dogs are a bit more instant gratification, and it's a bit like why they're so successful on the tab is because 30 seconds you know what you've got, and it's pretty much the same with training them and owning them. So we didn't have much luck initially, like a lot of people, and the couple of the fellas I was in with left basically, and I was bitten the hardest, so I've stayed on and trained for a friend as well. He's still got 1 or 2, and just stuck on from there really. So it was just an opportunistic situation. The first dog wasn't good enough to have anyone else train, so I thought I could do it, but didn't make any difference with him, but it was a good start anyway. So.
Well, it certainly looks as though you're in the game for good. You've handled this dog very well. You've spaced his runs. You haven't sent him to the wall. and I reckon he's good for another 12 months or 18 months of solid racing.
Well, touch wood. Like I said, we don't sort of stretch him too far, and we probably could race him a little bit more if we wanted to, but we're sort of in it for the enjoyment as much as anything. And we've got my wife give me a hand, and my dad gives me a hand, and we just a bit of a family thing, and we get a photo every time. So probably as much as I win, I spend on photos just about. But it's it's a bit of a lifestyle thing as well. So.
Well, that's the magic about greyhound racing. Everyone gets involved, and all the rallies can be part of it, and you can actually get up close to a dog, or as a horse you've got to keep a fair way away. Right. Well, Craig, I wish you all the best with your team, and especially with those new ones coming along, and I hope we're talking to you again in the very near future.
I hope so too. Thanks for the opportunity, Ray. Appreciate it.
Our special guest has been Craig Arthur on In the Box Seat. Don't forget to go to grsa.com.au for all of your greyhound information, and you can catch me again on Hot Dogs for Breakfast Wednesday morning, first thing on 5RPH at 8 o'clock.